Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, and welcome to the Air Canada Centre as we take a look at the Gladiators and the Gilded Gazebos tonight. Jonathan Bernier, 2-1-1 lifetime against the Ducks, 2.28 in those games. And Jonas Hiller is 0-3-0 against the Leafs and a 5.06 goals against average.
Randy Carlyle admitted that he might be a little bit nervous playing against his old team tonight, and Bruce Boudreau said, last time I was in here it didn't go very well, so everybody's paying for their tickets tonight.
Oh, there you go.
That's one way to get out of it, Gabby.
Gabby's had some fairly deep pockets over the years, I'm sure. He is a delightful young man. If you ever got a chance to spend some time with him, you're going to leave with a smile on your face because you're going to laugh a lot. We're underway, and we're glad you're along with us here on Sportsnet as across the line, Palmieri with a long shot. A big rebound, and it's knocked up onto the right wing side and pushed towards the line, and not out. Rattled right back in again. Riley unable to get that from Bernier. Now a loose puck in front of the Toronto goal. Pushed to the near side for Mason Raymond. Raymond trying to control it, but can't. Lupul has it, and tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Intact Insurance. Your home, your auto, your business as a shot is taken by Hiller and Helm. Ask your broker about Intact Insurance Company.
Pretty indicative of what you're going to see tonight in the first shift. Some pretty good speed and an offensive push by Anaheim, and then a counterattack with speed by the Toronto Maple Leafs. It could be a track meet tonight as both these two teams can skate. And here a little look off by Raymond. Good work by Anaheim defense to not allow the pass to go across, and a good read by the goaltender Hiller.
Face off to the right of Jonas Hiller. He's never beaten the Maple Leafs and had some problems in games that he's played against. Draw one by Toronto. Bent around the boards by Paul Ranger. Cut off there by Cam Fowler. And the pass comes up on the wing and sent out by Cogliano, but intercepted. McClement rolls it right back in again. Levo into the corner. McClement with them, but couldn't get the puck. And a penalty coming here. And a good forechecking by Levo may have brought about this penalty. The first power play of the game.
Well, Lovejoy gets caught for the hook, and again, a little chip here and a good shoot-in location by McLaren. That allows Levo to get in on a fine forecheck, and then afterwards the penalty by Lovejoy here as Levo fights for the puck, wins the battle, and then because of that, there is the stick across the gloves.
Leafs power play has been excellent. It is second in the league, 10 of 36. And in the last 5 games, 6 of 19. Enough dishing it off. Branson ahead for Van Riemsdyk. Drops for Bozak. Bozak to the far side. Now back to Phaneuf. Off on the wing to Kessel. Kessel stepping in with a pass that was out of the reach. Branson in the corner now. Side of the net for Van Riemsdyk. He tries to push it out in front. Bozak couldn't reach it. And it's rattled to the line but not out. Nice save there by Branson. Phaneuf to Branson being pressured hard. Trying to get it away from Nick Foligno, and it is sent out and down the ice. Played quickly ahead, and Kessel tips it in over the line. But it's going to be grabbed there by Brian Allen and sent out into the center ice area. Gardner backpedals in his own zone. Jake Gardner coming out. Minute to go in the power play as he hits the line. Sifts through. Couldn't hold the puck though as Allen got enough of him. Back to the blue line, and Mason Raymond couldn't keep it in. It's going to slide all the way back into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley back there trying to free it up, and he has. Raymond, a rink-wide pass off the skate, but unable to push it ahead was Gardner as it's sent back into the Toronto end.
Gardner's a little too far ahead of the play there. He's got to get back with his partner to give an excellent out to Morgan Riley.
There's Riley up ahead for Mason Raymond. For Kadri, and the pass into the slot was picked off rather adroitly there and sent out and down the ice by Ryan Getzlaf. Pass for Raymond is too far. Allen back to recover the puck. Just a dozen seconds left in the penalty. Colton Orr trying to muscle it in against Getzlaf. Now he does and slides down the boards, but it'll be cut off by Lindholm. Lindholm taken to the boards by Orr. The puck comes out on the center ice area for Perry. Knocked down by Phaneuf and down into the zone. The first penalty has expired in the game. Lead pass, did Orr touch it? Apparently he did. Thinking it was icing, Brian Allen nonchalant at that. It's around the boards and back of the net. Far side for Patrick Maroon, and up ahead it goes. Here's a chance for Silfverberg, and he can't get around the defense. A rolling shot is easily handled there by goaltender Jonathan Bernier.
Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Ryan Getzlaf, we all know what he can do offensively, but he brings a little different element to the rink each night, and one of them is his defensive play, which he brings every night. And what a terrific play as he tracks through the middle and takes the puck away from a potential scoring chance from Luke.
Lovejoy plays it around back of the net. There's Solani trying to get it in front of the net for Perreault. At the blue line, a long shot goes wide. Lovejoy throws it around to the far side. Fowler trying to get to it, but he's unable to keep it in. And he'll have to go back to regroup at his own blue line. Then Lovejoy, chased back by Lupul, the former Duck. And Lovejoy is able to pull away from the late winger. Played in off a stick and down into the Toronto zone. Bernier, quick up now on the wing for Raymond, and ahead too far for Kadri. Solani drops it back. He's heading for a change. Ducks send it back in, and now Emerson Edom heads to the bench as well. Now back into the near corner, and it is brought out by the Ducks. Lindholm unable to penetrate the Leaf blue line, backhanded into the zone now. And Gardner puts the brakes on to elude one, but he gave the puck away only to have McClement help him out and get it out at center ice. Onto the near wing it goes, and unable to play it into the zone, Dave Bolland. Back the other way comes Cogliano. Cogliano pulls up at the half boards. Ranger took his man down, no penalty. And up on the wing it goes as Bolland is able to push it down. And here's McClement racing after it. He's got Lebo in front of the net. The pass for Lebo. And a nice play there and a quick stick. Denied the opportunity, and it's out into the center ice area now for the drop pass by Winnick. And a shot taken there by Vatanen. He was the one who broke up the rush at the other end and jumped into the offensive flurry. Laid out into the center ice area. That's gone into the open door and out of play in the Anaheim bench.
Well, when you have a good puck handling goaltender, and you want your defense to get away from you. And here's a good example here. Bernier gets the puck behind the net. Riley does a good job getting away from the goalie, giving him an out, and then a nice breakout out of the zone. And Riley under pressure. Look how he peeks first. That's the key. The little peek. He knows who's available, finds him, and then the Leafs get out of the zone.
Face-off coming out into the center ice area as the puck went right into the bench of the Anaheim Ducks. Lovejoy, rink wide. Phaneuf stepped into his man. Palmieri got it in over the line. Getzlaf is there looking for Perry and finding him. Perry in over the line, trying to drag it through, but good play by Phaneuf to cut it off. And now it is launched ahead at center for Kessel. One man to beat, and he stick handled the puck off his stick. Fowler looked like he might not be able to catch Kessel if he got another stride on him, but when he stick handled, the puck rolled off the toe of his stick. Centering pass broken up. Getzlaf bringing it back the other way with Palmieri. Getzlaf in over the line, in for Palmieri! And Kessel went right to the net with him, and everybody ends up in behind Bernier, except for the little rondelle, which ended up in the corner.
No penalty. The Ducks are asking for one right here because they feel that Kessel did not have position on the play. There is the giveaway. Now Kessel put his head down. He'll take his man to the net. Getzlaf with the delay. Wow. I think the Leafs got away with one there for sure.
Ooh, right into your living room comes the two players. Face off down to the right of Jonathan Bernier.
Oh, a little bit wondering on the Anaheim bench why there wasn't a holding play on that by Kessel, as he did not have position defensively when Palmieri was going to the net.
Bodie gets the puck out at center, or runs into his man. Bodie knocked down on the play, trying to drag it along, but it's brought out at center ice now by the Ducks and sent by Silfverberg into the zone. A pass then by Bernier. Got to Troy Bodie, and he sends it out into the center ice area.
Another good play right there by Jonathan Bernier and exiting the zone with a good pass.
Daniel Winnick along with Troy Bodie, two of the players drafted in the 9th round of a draft who have played over 100 games in the National Hockey League. It is a 0-0 tie here in the first.
Well, there's Bruce Boudreau behind the bench. Of course, a lot of history in this city. As a Toronto Marley, as a youngster all the way up, and playing with Randy Carlyle as well. And it's interesting, I asked Boudreau, do you have a favorite hockey story about Randy Carlyle? And he said, I don't know if I got a favorite hockey story, but everybody around Anaheim is still calling me Randy.
They do have a little bit of a resemblance.
We had a good laugh this morning over that.
Well, ever since he took on Patrick Waugh, this team hasn't been beaten.
Neither is Patrick.
No. Here's Kadri going down into the corner. Jim Ralph had a great line about it. Asked about how many fights Gabby Boudreau had been in. He said 5, lost them all, but 4 of them were domestic.
Jim would know.
Oh, yeah. Long shot deflects wide of the goal. Round back of the net is Lupo. Lupo works back to the blue line, slides it back into the corner, and it's shot out and down the ice. Made a chuckle with Gabby about that before the game. And an icing charge coming here against the Ducks. Tonight's keys to the game are brought to you by Tim Hortons, official coffee of the NHL.
Well, for the Anaheim Ducks, their special teams have been brutal so far. Their 5-on-5 play excellent. They got to get their special teams going on this very long road trip. And for Maple Leafs, the big question is, can they handle the size of Getzlaf through the middle? You heard Doug McLean talk about that Bozak's going to need some help from the wingers in this situation because of Getzlaf's tremendous skill and size.
High stick knocking it down the ice. It'll be waved off as Gardner corrals it. Up ahead off Lebo and into the zone. Clement goes around back of the net. Poland took the bad angle, couldn't get to the puck. And a lead pass. Lebo's back checking. Now brought in by Perry, and his shot was deflected weakly wide of the net. Flipped around back of the goal and down the ice. And it'll be the Ducks going back to recover it with Lovejoy. Gave it away to Josh Lebo. Chopped it around back of the net. But Clement able to come up with it to Lebo. Centered in front of the net. Oh, and unable to get a backhand away. There was Bozak coming off the bench. Bozak in against the boards. Phaneuf pinches down. Puck comes into the slot, and it's pushed ahead. And here's Palmieri over the line. Palmieri with a shot deflected into the screen off the stick of goaltender Jonathan Bernier.
Getzlaf is pretty good at times doing this. In fact, very good. But he tries to do a little bit too much about McLaren there, and then the Leafs created some pretty good pressure because of the giveaway by Getzlaf.
Look at the assist that this young man has had. Corey Perry, of course, the two predominant forwards on those successful Anaheim teams. Drop pass didn't work. Poland plays it off the glass into the center ice area. And it is back into the neutral ice and fed up on the wing and knocked in by Koivu. Gardner around back of the net. Up on the wing. Levo couldn't get there. Kept in by Lindholm. Now around back of the net. Lindholm into the corner. Back of the goal it goes for Daniel Winnick. Toronto native trying to push it up the wall. And does. Back from Koivu to the point to the far side. Now trying to butt it in there was Lindholm, but it didn't work. And it's cleared by the Leafs down into Anaheim territory. Ducks with 4 shots, the Leafs with 1. It has been a problem in the Leafs arsenal. They've had a great shooting percentage, but they've not generated a ton of offense in the last 3 or 4 games. Back down into the Toronto zone. Bernier laying it around on the near side for Van Riemsdyk, who just gets it out. And a high stick knocked that down off the stick of Sami Vatanen, and it'll be a face-off coming in the center ice area.
The World Series, Game 1.
This period, Brought to you by the redesigned 2014 Toyota Tundra. Tough enough for any project.
As I was saying, and I'm a wee bit excited here, guys, because the World Series is coming back, and I know, Joe, you're excited, as is our producer, Mark Haskin. Game 1, St. Louis, Boston, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sportsnet East, Ontario, West, and Pacific. There you go.
All right. Down into the corner. The stick there from Orr came up on the Anaheim defender, and now it's pushed out into the center ice area. Silfverberg trying to get around Morgan Riley, and he's unable to do so. Bodie and Riley trying to come away with it. Smith does, and it'll be played by Trevor Smith to center ice. In on the right wing side for Patrick Maroon. Bodie tipping it, but it won't get out. A long shot in traffic, blocked in front. Riley is able to cover it up, and he skates it out at center. Morgan Riley in across the line, looking for Kadri, and it goes down into the corner. Change is coming for both teams. A weak shot deflected in on goal off the stick of Raymond as the stick exploded. Enough trying to get the garbage out of the way, and it is played down into the Toronto zone. And a penalty coming here for interference. So the Leafs will be a man short for the first time in the game when we return. There is no score.
Up a bit of a slow start. Timo Solani has that jump back in his game. He's got 3 goals in the last 3 games, and here's this little stutter step we see him do so often, and pushes the puck by Phaneuf. Phaneuf draws a penalty for interference. And Morgan Riley's had a real good start to this game, playing with confidence. A good outlet pass there up the middle, and then a one-on-one play. I'll give you a couple of quick examples of how he's been excellent here so far in this first period, doing some nice work there and getting the puck back, retrieving it, and then getting it out on a one-on-one defensive play.
Leafs have dropped to 7th in the NHL in penalty killing. Over their first 5 games, they allowed 1 goal and 18 times short. The last 4 games, 4 goals and 16 times short. First power play of the game for Anaheim, and as well as they've played 5-on-5, their power play's been abysmal. 3 of 32. They're 28th in the NHL. With the people they've got to employ on the power play, you wonder and feel that that's going to improve. Here's Solani. Off a skate. It's going to carry him out into the center ice area. Lahtinen goes back for it. Out it ahead for Fowler. Fowler to Getzlaf. Getzlaf with Solani. Getzlaf dropping it for Solani. Solani back to Getzlaf around back of the net. Bank pass for Fowler. Fowler with a wrist shot coming. Knocked down in front. A backhand by Franson did not clear. Getzlaf centers. And it comes all the way back to the blue line. Fowler. Lahtinen. Back into the corner it goes for Getzlaf. Getzlaf has it taken away. Cody Franson sends it out and down the ice for Toronto.
You can see the Anaheim power play so far, all perimeter. Maybe that's why they're having a difficult time in their power play. Heated up their last game where they got a couple on it, but it's been pretty weak so far this year.
And across the line for the Ducks and into the corner. Round the boards by Perreault. Blocked there. Palmieri sends it back around on the near wing. It's grabbed off there and sent by Raymond down the ice. Now Hiller out to play it away there from Boland, who was in position. And it's brought out now by Kyle Palmieri. Got the puck ahead, broken up, but swatted in there deeper by Silfverberg. Grabbed off then by Jay McClement, and he changes the angle and sends it down the ice. 10 seconds left in the first penalty for Toronto.
Another terrific kill by the Toronto Maple Leafs in their penalty kill. They won every battle, and they were first to the puck throughout the penalty kill.
Perreault sends it in front. That's deflected by Van Riemsdyk. Phaneuf out of the penalty box is able to one-hand it down the ice and then peel to the bench. 7:25 to go first period. The game looking for its first goal. Cogliano in over the line. His shot, a pass at the rebound, is taken back of the net then by Winnick. Winnick takes it into the corner. Tries to center, broken up, brought out by Kessel. Kessel trying to make a move along the boards, and now it's Bozak. Oh, he had Van Riemsdyk roaring to the net at center, and it just failed to connect with Kessel. Ranson getting it ahead. Koivu sends it down into the Toronto end. And here's Gardner around back of the goal. Cody Franson scoring at .777 points per game. Last year he was at .604 per game. He's on pace to get 64 points this year. 7 assists thus far. First 9 games of the season. Here's Bozak with the shot deflected wide of the goal by Patrick Maroon. Sent in off a broken stick. Bozak trying to corral back of the net. Ran into problems there with Lovejoy. Got some help from Mason Raymond. Raymond stick handling around the debris. Finds Kessel around on the boards to Phaneuf. Phaneuf can't shoot it at the net. Kessel to the middle of the ice. Shot went off an ankle wide. Raymond to the blue line. Phaneuf just does keep it in. Mason Raymond can't. And it is brought into the lead zone then by Tonino and brought up into the corner where Carl Gunnarsson plays it to the line but not up. Off the skate it comes to Lupul. His pass was nowhere near Phaneuf and the centering feed for Selanne just failed to work. Not kept in by Vatanen and it is offside. From Air Canada Centre, you're watching Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on Sportsnet.
It was the 92-93 season, 76 goals for Timo Selanne. That was the most goals that year and the most goals ever since in the National Hockey League. And yeah, remember this baby? And he's still going strong. And what a remarkable athlete, the way he continues to play and not only play but contribute every season, and this will be his last year in terms of what he is telling everybody, and he will be missed by the game. Not only is he a great player but a wonderful person as well.
Randy Carlyle was a teammate of Selanne that first year, but Randy played only 22 games. He had a great line when he said that he was on his farewell tour that year, but he was the only one that knew it. Played by Kadri back of the net, too far for Lupul. Incidentally, in those 22 games, Randy Carlyle had 1 assist, but it was not on any of the 76 goals that Selanne scored. And an offside of the Anaheim blue line.
For help finding the best tires for your vehicle and your budget, talk to Cal during our Don't Wait for Winter sale, featuring the Michelin LTX Winter. Sale ends November 2nd.
Joffrey Lupul's played very well, but his line mates have been somewhat unsettled so far this year, and I'm sure he'll be glad when Clarkson gets in the lineup, and perhaps things will settle down a little bit that way. He gets Kadri most of the time, but when Kadri's having a bad game, he loses him, and then Bolin ends up on his line, and I think it's fair to say it's been a bit disjointed for him so far this season because of the injuries.
With 10 points, Lupul is 11th in the scoring in the NHL.
Yeah, that's the great thing. It hasn't hurt him at all. In fact, he's been terrific.
Back of the goal, Gunnarsson started out. Now it is fired around the wall and right at the blue line to bring it into the zone is Bozak for Kessel. Looking for Van Riemsdyk and he sends it back across the goal crease. Palmieri tied up and forced off the puck by Carl Gunnarsson. Dion Phaneuf works it into the far corner. Now he starts out with a little bit of room. He'll try to weave wide on the left. Ran out of room there as Lovejoy was closing down on him. Fowler turns in the Anaheim zone. Under 4 minutes to play first period. Gardner backpedals. Finds Paul Ranger up ahead. It's deflected onto Jay McClement's stick. He couldn't get it into the zone, but now Koivu has regrouped it. Turning back is Cam Fowler to Lovejoy. Pass is deflected down into the Toronto zone. Koivu was loose in the slot. Bolin got back to get into position, but the puck's still in the corner. Winnick to the blue line, long shot wide of the goal. Rebound near side, fed in by Cogliano. Bolin has lost his cue, and it is now played to center ice by the Leafs after it looked like Josh Leivo had been tripped. Leafs still have just a single shot on goal. Vatanen with a pass into the slot, and it'll be grabbed off there by Paul Ranger. Ranger looking for a man. He's got Bodie breaking. He fires a long shoot in, and a little derisive cheering regarding the shot on goal by the Maple Leafs.
I think David Clarkson's had enough of skating after practice, and he will be chomping on the bit to get back in the lineup in Columbus on Friday night.
Yeah, 10 games is a long stretch to start the season. And Dave Nonis looking forward to maybe getting the club that he envisions at the beginning of training camp or into training camp onto the ice. As Nikolai Kulemin, Mark Fraser also getting close.
Fraser McLaren as well, Joe,
Yep,
this week.
exactly. We get the Winnipeg Blue Bombers back out there again. Back down into the Duck zone, played out onto the right wing side. Riley plays it ahead. Smith on the wing for Orr, and Orr will go into the corner after it. Orr and Beauchemin. Puck comes free, and it is played out on the right wing side. Here are the Ducks in across the line with Maroon, working in a goal! Scores! Nick Bonino on a perfect play on a 2-on-1. The Ducks open the scoring.
And right there, a collision as Franson and Bodie get all tied up right at their own blue line, creates the 2-on-1. And a perfect little play right across. Yeah, this was a pretty little 2-on-1. It was played pretty well as well.
Bonino's going to get the goal.
Bonino would going to the net, stick down. Terrific effort, but little hold here, holds the goalie. And Maroon with a great pass. And Bernier doesn't get across in time. But it all starts with the collision right at the offensive blue line by the Maple Leafs.
Another 5-on-5 goal for the Ducks, who are now plus 13. Their 24th goal 5-on-5 against 11 against. And the Maple Leafs now minus 1 5-on-5. So for Bonino, it's his 4th goal of the season. And a 1-0 Anaheim score on their 6th shot on goal. The 7th one was deflected high. Edam coming across. Perreault cycles it back along. Ranger intercepts. Fed it back up on the wing. And Kadri trying to spring Lupul, but they were almost standing beside each other. And an icing charge coming here against the Ducks.
This period brought to you by the redesigned 2014 Toyota Tundra. Tough enough for any project.
Perfect feed through the goal crease from Patrick Maroon. And Bonino with his 4th of the year. Young man from Hartford, Connecticut. Arrived in a trade with San Jose, and Travis Moan going the other way along with Kent Huskins. And it is a 1-0 Anaheim lead late here in the period. That goes into the bench again. And another faceoff coming in the center ice area.
Maroon has great speed, and he used his outside speed and his reach on this play, and then the pass right across the crease, and Bernier maybe could have got a stick on that. That was pretty tight to him as he moved across. It was on his wrong side, not his strong side to do it, but nevertheless, he cleanly had Bernier beat on the play, and the pass across, and it went underneath Bernier before he could get there.
Just 2 shots on goal for the Leafs. The fewest in a period thus far this season was 3 against Minnesota in the first period back on the 15th of October. Back down into the Toronto zone, chopped high to center ice. Bozak nudges his man Allen to the boards. Van Riemsdyk sent it to an open wing. Hammered off the wall there by Palmieri to center. Gunnarsson to Phaneuf. Phaneuf got it ahead, too far there for Bozak. They'll try again. Gunnarsson this time on the wing. Van Riemsdyk sending it down into the zone. Centering pass went off the skate of Beauchemin wide of the goal. And it's out into the center ice area. In that game with Minnesota, they had 3 shots in the first period and just 4 in the second. So getting pucks to the net has been a major concern for the Leafs in recent games. Ranson. A pass ahead. That doesn't work. 5 seconds left in the period. Josh Leivo can't get in over the line. And it's pushed in over the wall. And there is the horn to end the period. Bonino from Maroon and Silfverberg at 17:38. The only score we have. And it is 1-0. Let's go to Darren. Going wide. Nice move in a goal! Scores! Holy mackerel, what a play! Nazem Kadri with the hat trick! 1-0 in favor of the Ducks of Anaheim with just 8 shots between the two teams in the first period. And it was Nick Bonino who scored the goal. Let's go downstairs to Scott Morrison, joined by Damien Cox.
Thanks, Joe. A couple of general managers in attendance tonight, Steve Yzerman and Peter Chiarelli from Tampa and Boston, respectively. But their business tonight has more to do with Team Canada, the Olympics. Yzerman and his management staff have fanned out across the NHL, starting to do their scouting. They'll meet in a couple of weeks in Toronto after the Hall of Fame inductions to fine-tune their list.
I'm not sure they saw a whole lot in that first period. No, not a whole lot there. You know what? I didn't see a whole lot of that banging Leaf team from a year ago. And when you start looking at reasons why they're not being able to create a lot of offense, part of it is they are not making physical contact with the Anaheim Ducks or a lot of recent opponents. And part of that is quick puck movement from the other team. And part of it is the Leafs just not being able to get to the places where they go. But they really built a team identity last year, being the hardest hitting team in the league. I just don't see it. Now, the stats from the first period say the Leafs had 15 hits to 11 for the Ducks. I don't know. Do you remember any? I just don't see that same emphasis on that part of the game, and maybe that's why they're not creating as much offense.
No, none of those hits were memorable, that's for sure. Joe?
All right, thanks, guys. 1-0 in favor of Anaheim after the first period. And Jake Gardner led all Leafs in ice time at 7 minutes and 39 seconds. Ryan Allen had 7 minutes and 50 seconds for the Ducks. Trying to add a little bit more to the list of statistical information. Shots on goal, those blocked and ones that missed the net. 17 for Anaheim, 9 for Toronto.
And Toronto at the face-off dot. Not been very good so far, winning just 41% of the draws. Perreault, however, for the Anaheim Ducks, won all 5 of his face-offs. So for Jonathan Bernier, if he can keep the puck moving in those situations, he'd be better off than creating a face-off to his right.
Face-off is controlled by Toronto. Dugout by Bozak, but unable to find Kessel with it. Now it's down into the corner, being chased there. Carl Gunnarsson after his man is centering. Pass is deflecting. Look out, that's gone up into the seats. And missed a young fan over there. He looks like he's all right. And there's the aforementioned Mr. Chiarelli and Yzerman in attendance.
Adam Creighton, a former teammate beside his boss, Pete Chiarelli, as Adam works for the Boston Bruins.
They've got some very tough decisions to make, and maybe a name or two we're not expecting to make that club to make it this time around.
Down into the corner, Ranger. For Boland, flipped to the line, volleyball back, but then broken up and brought in by Josh Leivo. Dropped, and then unable to take it to the net was Boland. Lindholm, back the other way. Into the near boards, tries to play it down into the corner. Boland in, it comes out in front. A poke check there by Bernier. Freed things up as that was coming right out in front of his own goal. No icing here. Hampus Lindholm back behind the Anaheim goal. To the near wing and played by Beauchemin to center. In over the line, it goes too far for Saku Koivu. A long lead pass, and it went off Raymond's stick. He was in alone if he handled the feed. Here's Selanne back the other way. Teemu Selanne pulls the brakes on, rolled it to the side of the net. Round back to the goal. Franson got to it, but it comes back to the blue line, and the drive by Lovejoy is off the mark wide. Rebound near side for Lupul. Lupul to the left wing side for Raymond. Raymond stops. Gets back on his skates. Now looks to send it to the net, but that doesn't reach the goal as it's brought out by Selanne at center. Lovejoy will just send it in and peel to the bench. Drop pass there for Perreault. That was stopped, but there's a rebound in front. Unable to spin and get a shot away was Sami Vatanen, and it's down into the corner. Now wrap around, coming out in front, and the shot scores! The aforementioned Mr. Perreault that you were talking about has just given the Ducks a 2-0 lead.
Well, the initial shoot-in, normally Bernier would go get the puck behind the net, but it was on the glass. It was a good shoot-in by Anaheim, so he couldn't do that. There, around the glass it goes. Now it goes to the corner, and a terrific little cycle here by the Ducks. Bernier just hugs his coach, lets out a bad rebound, but nobody recovers it. And Perreault will just get the puck, and he just rolls off his check. And everybody's watching and taking their man and not taking Perreault on a one-on-one defense down low. Riley gets beat here, but now they just wait, and he gets too good a positioning, Perreault, and then he'll just fire it through traffic, and Bernier doesn't get out of his crease enough, and gives a lot of the top half of the net away, and all of a sudden it's 2-0 for Anaheim.
Vatanen along with Edom is going to get the assists, and it is 2-0.
By the way, I should mention as well, Don Waddell is in the building tonight, and he is one of the staff members for Team USA, so you would imagine he might be looking at Mr. Van Riemsdyk a little bit in this game tonight, I would guess. Here's a look at this goal again. Good role play here by Pro to get by Riley. Now you got to switch. Riley's got to take the man in front, and his partner has to at least take Perreault when he gets in a good scoring position, and nobody took him, and he just rifled it in past Bernier.
Centering pass back to the blue line, and sprawling to block that was Troy Bodie.
And to me, it looked like the puck too went on end, and that's one of the reasons why Perreault was able to just fire it up right up top of the roof in a hurry.
Here's Orr rolling it in over the line. Trying to get to it there was Smith. Trevor Smith in along the board. Orr punts it in front of the goal. And Bodie couldn't come up with, but a penalty coming to Anaheim. Ranger back to Troy Bodie, a shot. That's blocked. He gets another one, and it's shot off a body and up into the screen, out of play. And it is a hook that is coming up here, and it will send the Leafs to their second power play opportunity of the game.
Good work by Colton Orr and Bodie to come off the bench and create a little energy after his team gets scored against. And Colton Orr here on the aggressive forecheck gains possession of the puck, and there is the hook right there. Pretty good shift by the fourth line players, although Bozak was along with the two wingers.
2:46 the time of the penalty. Second power play opportunity of the game for Toronto. And they'll have to start back in their own zone. Kadri starts up front with Lupul and Raymond. Here's Riley for Raymond. He let that go, and that's going to turn into an icing.
Confidence level of this group that was so high to start the season is down a court at the moment. And it all starts again. A lost face-off in the power play in the offensive zone creates an icing play, and then a bad entry, and back the Leafs are in their own zone again.
Kadri able to win that face-off. Gardner around back of the net. He starts out, but he's being hampered there by Cogliano. Now Lupul. A rink-wide feed. Here's Kadri into the corner. Raymond trying to help out, but Cogliano has it, and he'll send it the rest of the way down the ice. 2-0 Anaheim. Gardner to the red line. Dishes it off, goes after it himself. Has it around back to the goal. Chipping it back to the blue line to Morgan Riley. Riley's wrist shot. That went high into the near corner. Round back of the net for Lupul. Lupul banks it back to the blue line to Gardner. Over to Riley. Riley stepping to the middle of the ice. Dishes off to Kadri. Lupul's gone to the front of the goal. The pass in front for him. Down is Jonas Hiller, and he's got a hold of it. Pass was partially blocked and lost a lot of its momentum.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
Miller just puts his paddle down, and good work by Anaheim's defense to box out the Leafs.
At the point, Phaneuf a drive, and that was just off the mark wide. Franson can't reach it, sent by Bonino down the ice. Phaneuf will take it and start out. Got about a couple of passes, then drops for Kessel. Kessel onto the left wing side, unable to handle that with Van Riemsdyk. Then Van Riemsdyk gives the puck away, and the Ducks send it out and down the ice.
2 shots for the Toronto Maple Leafs now, almost 25 minutes into the game.
Kessel hits the line. Left wing side, too far for Van Riemsdyk. Down the ice it goes again. Anaheim penalty killing has struggled as well. 22nd in the league. They've given up 6. Here's Jay McClement. Knocked down there by Maroon. And it is grabbed off by Smith, but he can't find anybody in front of the net. Turnover there, but it doesn't materialize. Excuse me, as it played down into the Toronto zone. Penalty is expired. Ducks back at full and even strength. Leafs trailing 2-0. Here's Dave Bolin working in over the line. Into the spot for a shot. What a save by Hiller off the stick of Jay McClement. The Leafs only good scoring chance right there.
And as a goaltender, it's not easy when you don't see much work like Hiller has not seen. You know, trying to keep your confidence and your focus level. Not confidence, but focus level. Confidence isn't an issue. What a save there by Hiller as he just snaps his glove off out and makes a tremendous save on McClement, who had that puck labeled. He waited, and that's just a beautiful save by the goaltender, Hiller. But again, difficult when you have not had many shots in work to stay in the game, and Hiller with great focus there makes a big-time save to keep his team up by 2.
Jay McClement looking for his first goal of the season was robbed there. Round back of the net, Vaakanainen got it ahead. Carroll has escalated the lead with a goal here in the second period. Morgan Riley for Kadri. Down the boards, Raymond with the defenseman pinching at center to come back to the blue line. Near side now for Allen, and his shot is blocked. And here's Lupul racing away. He's got Mason Raymond with him. Lupul to the net to Raymond! Holy mackerel, what a save by Hiller! A 2-on-1 to perfection, but the goaltender was better.
Terrific read.
So the Leafs finally getting some scoring chances, and as a result, get 2 great opportunities, but Jonas Hiller comes up strong. Laid ahead now for Perry. Rink wide, bouncing puck over the stick of Palmieri. He is hammered into the boards by Phaneuf, who gets it on to Kadri. A lead pass on for Kessel. Offside as Kessel was knocked off the blue line. And some shoving here after the hit by Phaneuf. But a huge save by Jonas Hiller on a perfect 2-on-1.
Well, Allen with a horrific giveaway right at the offensive blue line here as he just fans on it. Creates a perfect 2-on-1 situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hiller, though, nice left pad push to get over right on Raymond. And then afterward, Phaneuf trying to get his team going a little bit here with a nice body check, clean body check in Palmieri. And that's what the Leafs need a little bit, and the captain leading the way. They need some energy. They got to get some passion and get in this game a little bit. It's coming here in the last couple of minutes.
Kessel jousting a little bit with Palmieri. And the Ducks control the face-off. Fowler has it tipped in over the line by Palmieri. Corey Perry takes his man in from behind. There's going to be a penalty here to the Ducks. Here's Kessel getting it out in center, and as it is touched by Ben Lovejoy, here's the call. It wasn't a hard hit, but they're judging it to be from behind.
On Gunnarsson. Oh boy. You know, if they start calling that, we get problems. That's a body check. I mean, but then he called a slash after, maybe. But they called the play boarding. So it was the initial contact, and oh boy. I'm sorry, but I don't get that one.
Leads to their third power play and have had 0 shots with the man advantage over the first 2. And starting with the puck from the face-off circle has been a major problem. Here's Phaneuf. Starting out of his own zone, gives it off to Kessel. Onto the wing for Franson. He can't hold it. Down the ice it goes again. Minute 34 to go with the man advantage. Phaneuf drops for Kessel. With speed to enter the zone this time. He'll stop. Looks for Van Riemsdyk in front. Back to Phaneuf at the blue line to Cody Franson. Franson banks it around to the far side for Kessel again. Kessel holding. Trying to find a little bit of room. Beauchemin chases. Now down low to Bozak. He's got a 2-on-1 in front. Franson with a shot. That was stopped. The rebound in front. They score! First power play goal of the year for Phil Kessel.
Talked about the need for the Leafs special teams to get going against a very good 5-on-5 Anaheim team, and that's exactly what happens here. Great pass there by Van Riemsdyk. Swing it across, win the battle. That's what he does so well. What a pass by Van Riemsdyk over to Kessel. And the U.S. Olympic team will like this play, that is for sure. As he moves it around, tucks it through the legs. What a pass. And Kessel makes no mistake, and he's in position A to throw it by. And a surprised, I think, Hiller, who couldn't believe that pass got through himself. What a tremendous play by Van Riemsdyk.
Third goal and 9th point for Phil Kessel, and an important goal for the Maple Leafs. Franson will draw the additional assist, and it is 2-1. Kadri going. He had the puck, I guess. Now heads over to the far side as it bounces into the center ice area for Raymond. He'll drop it back. Carl Gunnarsson got it ahead. Did that touch anybody? Doesn't matter. Hiller came out to play it. Now he tries to pump it around the boards. Knocked down by Lupul. Ducks play it to the near boards and batted out at center. And Dion Phaneuf is there. Gunnarsson up the middle for Lupul. Nice little move to gain the zone. Lupul with another nice little move to gain into the corner. But he's ridden to the boards hard by Getzlaf. Now bouncing puck. Lupul trying to get it back to the blue line, and Getzlaf will flip it down into the Toronto end. Hustling after it there is Edom, and into the corner he goes. Emerson Edom trying to center, and it's off on Dave Boland's stick. Boland's pass was knocked down, but he's able to come away with it. A 3-on-2 rush for Toronto. Here's Boland in over the line. No one in front of the goal. He shoots it, they get the rebound, they score! Dion Phaneuf! That looked like it was going nowhere.
Well, a couple of shifts before the power play was better. And there's a giveaway by Teemu Selanne right at the offensive blue line. A broken play as the shot gets blocked and then ends up right on Phaneuf's stick. Give Phaneuf credit. He followed up with the play and kept the gap tight between forward and defense. And when he did that after the initial chance goes off the leg, he's in position A to whack it right by the goaltender Hiller to tie this game up, and Anaheim's called a timeout.
2 goals, a minute 19 apart, has erased a 2-0 Anaheim lead. Kessel from Van Riemsdyk and Franson, Phaneuf from Boland, and it is a 2-2 tie.
And on the power play, Kessel gets the first goal of the evening here, and a real smart play here as he finds Bozak in the seam. Once he does that, he goes right, highs a little bit, comes off the post, and then the puck arrives for him, and that gave the Leafs the first goal, and then Phaneuf now to tie the game up at 2.
Dave Boland with his 7th point of the season and his 4th assist, and the Maple Leafs in a 2-2 tie. The 3-on-2 rush looked like it had broken down, but as you say, Phaneuf read the play after the fact, and Boland found it. Cleared in by Jay McClement, and Orr goes into the corner against Brian Allen. A hefty hit there that rattles the glass. Puck out at center ice and in over the line now for Vatanen with a shot. There's a big rebound in front. And it's going to be cleared gingerly to the center ice area. Allen in his own zone. Drops it back. Brought on now by Sami Vatanen. Vatanen into the corner. Vatanen trying to get around Gardner. Penalty coming to Toronto. Vatanen center, stopped by Bernier on the short side. It comes back to Vatanen again. 6 attackers on the ice. Fowler for Getzlaf. To the blue line. Vatanen's shot is deflected by a sprawling Colton Orr. The puck is still free though. And back to the blue line. Fowler holding. Waiting for traffic to develop in front to Getzlaf. Getzlaf to the far side to Vatanen. Back over here for Fowler, and it'll be touched by Dave Bolland. Here's the call. A hook will send the Ducks to their second power play. Jay McClement believes heading to the penalty box.
UEFA Champions League soccer coverage continues tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern on Sportsnet East, Ontario, West End Pacific, and immediately following this game, stay tuned for Connected.
Jay McClement in the penalty box here. Vatanen here going through the neutral zone. There's that little hook onto the arms, and that's why he's in for 2 or less.
Second power play of the game for the Ducks. And a 2-2 tie. The slot area, and it is fed out at center ice and down into the Anaheim zone. Changes there. Bozak to the bench. Fowler up on the wing. Getzlaf had it roll off his stick, and very quickly Carl Gunnarsson sends it down the ice. Fowler turning once more. Drops it for Getzlaf. Getzlaf to the line, upended, shot down the ice, and a penalty coming here. Van Riemsdyk's going to get the gate.
Getzlaf entering into the zone. Van Riemsdyk just gets his stick tied up here right between his legs, and he tapped his foot. Getzlaf may have helped that along a little bit, but a big opportunity here for Anaheim and a huge kill for Randy Carlyle's group on a 5-on-3 situation for an extended period of time.
And at 27, they've given up a goal in 2 previous 5-on-3 situations, but they total 45 seconds. So Van Riemsdyk in the penalty box, and Jay McClement, who is their best penalty killer, is in the box for the minute 27 of the 2-man disadvantage. Near side for Fowler. Fowler to Getzlaf. Down into the corner. Solani trying to move to the front of the net. Whoops, falling. And here's Getzlaf with it to Solani, and that was tipped into the corner. Back to the blue line for Fowler. Fowler to the near side to Getzlaf. Getzlaf down into the corner. Looking in front of the net for Perry. A pass in front is blocked by Fanuk. He gets up and straightens a shin pad. Out to the far side, Fowler. Down into the corner again. Trying to center, nope. Solani is right there hoping for a rebound. That went off a stick and wide of the net. Teemu Solani is third in all-time power play goals with 251. Looking for another as it comes in front, a shot wide. Solani with an empty net. Didn't get it. Down is Bernier. Oh my. How did Solani miss that?
And Solani just saying to everybody, calm down, calm down. Now he's going to call a team meeting here with Getzlaf to work on this 5-on-3. And some good puck movement down low. Solani with the first shot picks it up off the boards, and here's Perry with the wraparound. It just doesn't get through it. Ended up getting right into Bernier. He was down and out, and Perry had lots of room.
Here's Getzlaf, doesn't shoot it. Near side Fowler, down into the corner, Solani again. Side to the net, Bernier with the poke check. Can the Leafs get it out? They do! Dave Bolland does a great job there.
Great stick by Bernier there in front as well on Getzlaf.
Back in over the line, 15 seconds in the first penalty. Now to Fowler, down to Solani, back to Fowler. Getzlaf doesn't shoot it. Far side, back to Getzlaf again to Fowler. Fowler has it partially blocked by Franson. Out of the box is McCarthy. Rangers a minute 27 of a two-man disadvantage. Fowler across the line, 20 seconds left in the penalty to Van Riemsdyk. Pass across, just missed the post. Fowler with it again. Back to the blue line to Getzlaf. Over on the far side now for Koivu. Koivu holds. Saku Koivu back to the point. Fowler winds and shoots off the stick of Phaneuf, and it managed to find the screen and go out of play as the penalty is over.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs battle back in this game in the power play. They make it 2-1, and then moments afterwards, Phaneuf joins the play to make it 2-2. Now we got two penalties. There's the first one. Here comes the second one. A crucial 5-on-3, and Bernier with a tremendous stick at the best scoring chance for Anaheim, and the Leafs kill off the 5-on-3 power play.
7:16 to play in the second period. And the draw to the right of Bernier. Kadri will face off with Daniel Winnick. And the draw won by the Maple Leafs. Played up on the wing for Raymond and launched out and down the ice. Lindholm back to retrieve it. Reverses the puck up on the wing, but the Leafs came away with it. Unable to get it in front, though, was Lupul, and it's an icing charge now against Anaheim.
Intact Insurance is proud to sponsor the Toronto Maple Leafs and all the fans who keep believing. Intact Insurance, you're back.
Bernier with a couple of saves, but the penalty killers worked extremely hard and took away the shooting lanes on Anaheim in that 5-on-3 and did a great job.
This opens, there's a wrist shot right on, stopped by Hiller off the stick of Van Riemsdyk. About to say this opens an 8-game road trip for the Ducks. They'll cover 13,215 kilometers over this 8-game stay away from California. Cogliano now trying to drive the net. He was taken wide by Paul Ranger. Ranger battles with Cogliano. Cogliano loses the puck. Ranger trying to force it out and has. And Van Riemsdyk played it in over the line. Lindholm lost it. But backpedaling in his own zone is Beauchemin. He gives it away. A race for the blue line. Gardner had to make a little move. Now works around back to the goal. That was centered, but it went off a skate. Now the Ducks at center ice. Bonino, far side. That's launched in wide. They're going to call this icing. And so it'll be brought back into the Duck zone to the right.
I think this has been the best start of Phaneuf's career as a Toronto Maple Leaf. Defensively, he's been absolutely marvelous, and not really getting a lot of credit for it. But here he is. He blocks a shot and a cross-crease play on the 5-on-3. He's hurting a little bit here, but he's in good position. Here he goes down again to create an area where they can't pass across or find. Look at the great stick here on Perry. Forces him to miss the net. You can tell he's hurting a little bit because he got the puck in the knee, and he grits it out and helps his team tremendously on that 5-on-3 kill.
So the face-off in the circle to the right of the Ducks. Draw scrum, but controlled. Lindholm for Anaheim to the line, not out. Branson launches one high and wide. Mason Raymond plays it around back of the net. Kadri trying to get it away from his man. Lupul arrived on the scene, but it went high into the corner, and Lindholm will carry out now for the Ducks and clip it down into the Toronto end. Morgan Riley. A long lead pass goes off Kadri's stick. No icing. Played around on the boards on the near side. And out at center ice, it is sent by Bonino into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley with a quick up, and Raymond couldn't handle it. Out of the goal is Hiller to play it around on the board. The Leafs 2 and the Ducks 2 here in the second period. Launched down into the Toronto zone. Gardner along with Ranger, both back of the net, and Gardner comes out with the puck. Jake Gardner skating to center. He hits the line with a pass, gets it back again, plays it around back of the net. Josh Leivo couldn't cut it off, and it's out at center ice. Here's a turnover as Bodie couldn't get to it, and a shot, and a block there made by Rangers. It comes in front, and it is pushed out into the center ice area. Hiller will leave it there, and up a pass comes for Corey Perry. Perry spun off the puck, but plays it into the far corner. Peterborough native, and now it's out into the center ice area and launched right back in again. Enough around back of the goal. His goal at 9:03 tied the game. 2 goals, a minute 19 apart. There's 4:20 to go in the second period. And on by Phaneuf, it seemed to work out. Now back at center ice for Perry. Over on the right wing side for Lovejoy. Lovejoy drops it back. Long shot, deflects wide of the goal. Now back to the net it goes. Here's Getzlaf, forced wide. Trying to play it back, but it's cut off. Here's Kessel, one man back. He's in over the line. He's got Van Riemsdyk going to net. Kessel shoots a shot. Holy mackerel, what a shot!
Boy, the Anaheim Ducks have been giving the puck away, and the Leafs have certainly taken advantage of it a couple of times in this period, and there is just an unbelievable shot. Up over top of Hiller. Hiller, he waits, he's trying to find Van Riemsdyk. The pass is taken away, so he just rifles it, and boy does he rifle it. A perfect shot. There's the giveaway by Getzlaf, the 2-on-1, delay, look, boom! 3-2 Leafs. Super slow-mo shot. No room at all, right off the crossbar and down into the net.
First 2-goal performance of the season for Phil Kessel. And the Maple Leafs have a 3-2 lead, but you can rewind the tape to the minute 27 of a 2-man disadvantage that was killed off. So the Leafs with a 3-2 lead. Ranger gets the lone assist on the goal. Ducks can't get it into the Toronto end. Played by Lindholm to the far side. Now on the near wing for Perreault. Perreault with a shot that's well high and wide. And it is tipped then by Lupul. And out comes Jay McClement. Onto the wing for Boland. Boland into the slot for Lupul. And that was knocked away. It comes back into the center ice area. Franson trying to play it back. Chopped down into Toronto territory, and Franson takes charge back of the goal. Under 3 minutes to play in the second period. Off the boards and down into the Anaheim end, but this is going to turn into an icing charge, and it'll be brought back.
Pro Hockey Life, the ultimate hockey megastore.
2 shots in the first period, 9 here in the second. The Ducks have scored 23 goals in the first 2 periods, just 3 in the third thus far in their 8 games played. A shot deflects wide, the rebound goes back of the net. Losing his stick over there was Bernier. Now he's shaking that stick hand. He may have got it twisted a little bit. Now a long shoot in. He's got to handle that. He's going to take a face-off here and see if there's a problem, as it appeared to be, as he heads to the bench. Leafs have taken their first lead of the game.
The guys at our desk before the game talked about Phil Kessel, and Doug MacLean said, hey, he's too good a player. He's not going to worry about him scoring this year. Well, he was right. And Kessel here with a couple of beautiful goals in this hockey game. And moments ago, Bernier, a little bit of a concern here as he gets his hand caught. It was actually a stick, and then there he twists his arm and his wrist a little bit, it looked like. He shakes his hand, and he seems to be okay. However, during a commercial break, he seemed fine.
Now around back of the net. Ducks trying to work it along. Maroon getting it down into the corner. Cut off there by Gardner, and now skated out. Bank pass for Orr, goes down into the zone. Hiller decides he's just going to cover up with a minute 55 to go in the period. Frederick Anderson is the backup goaltender, the youngster, and won his first game in relief the other night.
Yeah, he jumped right in, and Hiller had a tough start, and there's the look at the general manager, Bob Murray, who doesn't look all that pleased at the moment after his team was up 2-0 here early in this second period.
Faceoff wasn't done correctly. They'll do it all over again. And who's gotten waved out? Oh, Kadri has been dismissed. Mason Raymond moves in. Ross strummed. Kadri unable to get to it. Quickly brought forward then and shot into the zone by Nick Bonino. And coming out to smother that is Bernier, and that draws a collision in behind him. The face-off will be to the left of Silfverberg, the former Ottawa Senator, who arrived in Anaheim in the big trade that sent Bobby Ryan to the Senators.
That was tough for Ottawa, you have to think, because this kid is going to be a real good player. And Ottawa, it's the old story, you have to give up something to get something, and when they lost Daniel Alfredsson, they wanted to fill that void with a veteran player, so they went out and did that, but they gave up a real good prospect in that Silfverberg, who's got 4 goals in the season. He got them early, hasn't scored in a while, but he's going to be a good player.
And a trade that had salary cap implications written all over it. Into the corner for Koivu. He's knocked down by Dave Bolland, but they don't get it up ahead for Jay McClement. They'll try the near side. Got 3 centermen on the ice, and McClement has it out. McClement to Bolland just out of his reach. He's going to get to it to deny icing, and it's around into the corner for Gardner. Jake Gardner now hammered in there a couple of times by Cam Fowler. He's down low. Holton Orr is filling in at the blue line. Now Bolland trying to get to the here's Orr at the point, sends it towards the net. It's wide. McClement back to the goal. Jay McClement shielding the puck to the point to Phaneuf. His wrist shot is right on. Is trying to get a stick on that to redirect it was Orr. Less than a minute to go, says Andy Frost. And it's out into the center ice area for Cogliano. Cogliano up on the wing, chipped into the Toronto zone. Wow, they're saying that Koivu did not make contact with that and that it is an icing charge. So Koivu's going to have to come back on the ice, I believe. Andrew Cogliano has not missed a game since he came into the league after his play at the University of Michigan. This is number 467. Wow. So the face-off is in the circle to the right of Jonas Hiller. And Bozak leans in here against Perreault. And the draw is won by the Leafs. Into the slot for Kessel. Kessel with a snapshot that goes wide of the net. Fowler will get it up on the wing to center. Carl Gunnarsson tied up there, but it is sent in on a delay. And so back to the net Phaneuf with a half minute to go in the period. It has been an enormous second period for Toronto, who fell behind 2-0 when Perreault scored. But then Bill Kessel and Phaneuf would tie the game. Kessel has given them the lead with his second goal of the contest. And an icing charge with 16.5 seconds will come here. Back down into the Toronto zone for an important face-off. Bozak will take it against Getzlaf. Shots on goal are even at a dozen apiece, which is a long ways from the 2 the Leafs had at the end of the first period. Bozak wins that draw. Phaneuf hammers it off the boards. Van Riemsdyk got it out. Brought back in offside. Leafs will head down to Columbus to tangle with the Blue Jackets on Friday night. And David Clarkson will get first opportunity to pull that blue and white jersey on for a real game. That will bring about some roster moves for Dave Nonis. At least one, and maybe some other players getting healthy.
And another energy player that the Leafs could use in a situation like tonight in the first period when they had nothing going. And that's where David Clarkson can come out, create a little energy, make something happen with his veteran presence. And Could be a valuable asset to this hockey club.
There's Bozak in over the line, trying to center. Oh, and it went right past Kuss. Now we've got a scrap going with Carl Gunnarsson and Corey Perry in front of the Anaheim bench as the horn goes. They are separated. Here's what happened behind the play.
Perry's a nasty piece of business, and Gunnarsson went right after him.
So after that breaks up, the Leafs enjoy a one-goal lead at the end of 2. Let's go to Darren and the panel at Sportsnet.
Commentators' clothing provided in part by Z Xenia. Available at The Bay in Toronto.
Highlights of 3 other games in just a moment, but I want to tell you on the eve of Daniel Alfredsson's first game against his former club, Sportsnet's Arash Madani chats with the former Senators captain to discuss his decision to leave the nation's capital and his new life in the Motor City. Catch the interview tonight on Connected.
You'll play the Senators here twice before returning to Ottawa. Have you thought at all about going back there?
When I'm there, I think it's going to be extremely emotional, but I think I would have dealt with most of all the media and everything beforehand, and that works in my favor and it makes me feel more comfortable.
Canucks against the Islanders tonight. If you have the Sedins in your fantasy pool, you have a big night going. Henrik Sedin scores his 3rd off of Daniel Sedin's effort. It's tied up at 3. Winding down in the second period, Evgeny Nabokov gives up another big rebound. That's the second one that leads to a goal. Chris Higgins slams it home. 4-3 Canucks going to the 3rd period on the island. Habs at home to the Oilers, who confirmed that Taylor Hall will be out 4 weeks. First period, Montreal on the power play. Andrei Markov to Thomas Plekanec. He beats Devin Dubnyk. 1-0 Montreal. Dubnyk looking for a 3rd straight solid start. Buck 27 later. Ryan Jones picked off. Brendan Gallagher takes it himself. 2-0 Habs. Give him some help. Devils against the Blue Jackets tonight. Second period, Jackets down 1-0 on the power play. James Wisniewski point shot. Blue Jackets will host Toronto on Friday night. Dave Clarkson's first game of the year. Brandon Dubinsky scores his second, tied at 1. Under 5 to go in the second, Cam Atkinson walks into the slot and rips the backhand behind Corey Schneider. 2-1 Columbus there. Dion Phaneuf and Phil Kessel with big second periods. More on that with Scott Morris and Damian Cox from ACC as we continue on Sportsnet.
Norman Sailor Jerry Collins, undisputed father of the old school tattoo and a true independent spirit. We make our rum in his name, distilled in support of craft, liberty, and whatever the hell you wish to pursue.
Let's test your threshold of pain. Let's see how long you last. Let's go where Eagles stand. We'll go where Eagles stand.
Made the old school way, 92 proof, bold and smooth as hell.
Watch hockey wherever you are with NHL Game Center Live, your pass to live NHL games. One subscription lets you watch live out-of-market games how you want, when you want, wherever you are. On your computer, tablet, smartphone, and connected devices. Take control of the action with digital DVR, multi-game views, and your choice of home and away broadcasts. Watch hockey anywhere with NHL Game Center Live. Sign up today at nhl.com/GCL.
We can be named #1 in customer satisfaction for vacations. We can offer packages to over 850 hotels, condos, and all-inclusive resorts. We can have a rewards program where you earn WestJet dollars for your next vacation while you're on vacation. But WestJet owner Lauren McPherson, knowing what goes perfectly with a fresh-baked lobster, that's what makes us fly. Every WestJet owner knows what they do every day makes a difference.
Green Bay. It's Dallas for sure.
Aw, you guys look hungry.
For lots of Dallas touchdowns. Dallas! 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 Dallas!
As Dallas will be forced to play their backup QB today. This could spell trouble for Dallas, who needs a bounce
Green Bay! Green Bay!
Green Bay! Touchdown!
Green Bay, baby! Yeah! Listen to your sports gut and get way into the game. Pro Live!
on a pretzel bun.
Pretzel bun. Wendy's new Pretzel Pub Chicken. Seasoned chicken with melted cheese sauce on a warm pretzel bun.
Now that's better.
Imagine all men with sensitive skin would stop shaving. A way better solution? Nivea Men Sensitive Skin Aftershave Balm provides an instant cooling feeling from the world's #1 men's skincare brand. It starts with you.
The high jump, approached the same way for decades, is suddenly changed forever when a man dares to jump back first. By flipping convention on its head, Mazda created the all-new Mazda 6 with bold Kodo design and revolutionary SkyActiv and iActiv Sense technologies, all to deliver unparalleled safety, performance, and efficiency, defying convention. This is the Mazda way, and this is the all-new Mazda 6.
The Leafs rebound from a 2-0 deficit and take the lead as Phil Kessel has his first 2-goal game since April 25th when he scored a pair against the Florida Panthers. Let's go downstairs. Scott Morris and Damien Cox standing by.
Thanks, Joe. I spoke with Leafs assistant coach Greg Cronin and asked him how the Leafs were finally able to generate some chances and then inevitably the 3 goals. And he said one of the big difference for them in that period is Anaheim really likes to pinch their D down on the wall. A giveaway there that led to the 2-on-1 and a near miss for Mason Raymond. But he said when they found a way to get the puck by the defense, the pinching D, they were able to get their speed involved in the game. And then a situation here where Cam Fowler takes away the basket. He leaves Phil Kessel with a quality chance, and he puts it away, a goal scorer's goal.
You know, you and Chris Simpson were talking in the pregame about, you know, for the Leafs, their good players have to be their good players. It seems obvious, but sometimes it really makes a difference. And tonight, obviously, Phil Kessel with a couple of goals in the second period, with the captain, Dion Phaneuf, I thought really made a difference. Started creating some energy by with some hits, and then he scores a big goal. He doesn't score a lot of goals, but he jumps in. This penalty kill turned out to be huge in that period. Phaneuf was a big part of it, along with Tyler Bozak and Carl Gunnarsson. So a really good period for him. Interestingly enough, Phaneuf didn't play the most of any Leaf defenseman in that period. That was Jake Gardiner. I thought it really started to make a difference in the game when he started jumping up ice.
Well, it's a cliche, but sometimes your best players can be difference makers. Joe?
All right, thanks, guys. 3-2 lead to take to the third period. And Phil Kessel, last hat trick he had, in case you want to go back a little bit, October the 8th of 2011 against Ottawa. That was his third career hat trick and his only one as a member of the Maple Leafs. Just in case you wanted to know, Mr. Millen, and I know, Joe, a lot of times you want to know these things. I know they do. Yeah, they do. And for goal scorers, they sure do.
That's the way he plays. No question.
Now, Gunnarsson and Perry getting minor penalties in that little fracas at the end of the period, so they're in the box. 4-on-4 here. Gardiner chases his man. Silfverberg back to the blue line. Back into the corner, a little too far for Getzlaf. Getzlaf has it stripped away by Gardiner, and the Leafs break out. Kessel on the left wing. Got Bozak trailing, and it's knocked out into the center ice area. Phaneuf having some difficulties. Silfverberg in on the wing. Can't get a shot away when he dropped it back. Getzlaf shot it wide. Here's Kessel dropping it back for Bozak shooting, and it doesn't make it through, but Kessel's there, and he backhanded it just wide. Here's Bozak trying to kill off some time while he gets some new players onto the ice, but then Franson fanned on the pass, and it's out into the center ice area. Fowler dropping, drive off the shoulder of Bernier. Koivu letting that go. Koivu trying to get around Morgan Riley. Riley ties him up, and it comes back to the blue line. Long shot into the breadbasket and held by goaltender Bernier.
Well, a special day yesterday, and we honored this man amongst many at the 19th Annual Canadian Sports Media Achievement Awards held at the Royal York Hotel. There's Joe alongside presenter Jim Ralph. and 335 on hand to honor this man for his Sportscaster of the Year award. 3 pretty good goaltenders here, one in particular, but his hero Johnny Bauer there to present him with the award. Joe, congratulations. As well to Bob McCowan, Steve Simmons, the late Mike Cassis, and Cam Russell as well. It was a great day.
Anytime you get to have Johnny Bauer around, it's a big day, and that for me is.
Well, I knew what that meant to you, Joe. Congratulations, partner. Well deserved.
And you know what? And as I told Johnny, it was much more exciting to see Nancy Bauer than John. Nancy was there too. She is a real delight. Here's Gardner in on goal. That was knocked away by Hiller. Gardner has the rebound. On the wing it goes to Mason Raymond. Raymond in, fakes, then let it go! And off the post and into the screen it went. And Jake Gardner gives you a little taste of what he can do.
When he gets through the neutral zone and giddy up, I mean, he can go. And here's where he just gets that extra stride. Now he's got as he breaks through 2 players, gains the zone. He's been doing a lot of this tonight. A shot on goal, and nobody there for the rebound, but Jake Gardner's had a pretty good night in terms of his jump when exiting the zone. And he's played the most of any Leaf player tonight. So Carlisle must like his game too.
Josh Levo has been awarded an assist on the Phaneuf goal, so he now has a goal and an assist as it is played in over the line. Lindholm. Up on the wing it comes, near side for Palmieri. Broken up and Kadri starts back. Raymond in over the line on the left wing side. Tried to center, it was blocked. He has it again. Riley looking for the puck and gets it towards the net. Blocked it, but another chance in front of the goal. Oh, and Kadri had a glorious chance there. Riley back across the line for Joffrey Lupo. Tried to make a little move between the legs, didn't work. Back around the boards, and here's Gardner overskating the puck, and it's on the wing for Carl Gunnarsson. Hasn't Kadri had a glorious chance there? Leafs are changing, gets after the puck.
I think it's fair to say at the moment his urgency's off a little bit, Joe, in this game and of late. And when your urgency around the net and your hunger just leaves you a little bit, which happens to players, particularly young players in the course of a long year, those opportunities don't go in. Where normally you'd be there and they, for him, would go in every time.
Kessel with an icing here and brought back into the Toronto zone.
And the confidence level of younger players will go up and down throughout the course of a season, Ed. When his confidence level is up, Kadri doesn't miss too many of these, but a pretty good defensive play there on Ethem, but it didn't even get through to the net. But again, a great, highly skilled player. He's still young, and we all have to remember that at times, particularly in this market where patience sometimes doesn't.
Patience.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me? Patience?
You know, sometimes you need a little with young players. Just a little once in a while.
I'm reminded of the cartoon of the 3 buzzards sitting on the phone line. One turns to the other and says, "Patience, I'm going to kill something." Kessel, who had 4 2-goal games last season, has a pair here tonight and a 3-2 Toronto advantage. And a shot off a leg from Maroon went wide. Now up on the left wing side and played down into the Anaheim zone, and it is icing against Toronto.
So the 4th line on for the Maple Leafs. Oh, it's not too bad as Boland's on the ice as well as McClement. So really Colton Orr is the only player on that 4th line on the ice as Randy Carlyle juggles it around again. So the Leafs are okay in this icing situation.
And it comes back to the blue line, near side. Button and a shot down. Bernier, he's got it in the chest and he's going to hold on. And a face-off coming in the circle to the left.
Well, back in 2003, Ryan Murray drafted both these 2 players 28th and 19th. And look at the careers they have both had. Remarkable.
Getzlaff from the Calgary Hitmen and Corey Perry, of course, from the London Knights. Around the boards far side, Solani. And a nice little visit from Ty Domi during the press box here during our intermission as he and Teemu Selanne were good friends and still are when they were teammates in Winnipeg. Around on the near side, chopped at by Raymond, ahead for Kadri. Kadri closed down on by Selanne. Now played into the corner, and it's not going to reach Lupul, but he gets it to it now. Knocked off his stick by Vakkanen, and it'll be brought out now with the pass up ahead for Teemu Selanne. 11th in the all-time goal list with 678. Farewell tour.
Yeah, when Randy Carlyle talked about him this morning, the one thing he said that really caught my attention was Selanne loves the game, and every day he comes to the rink, all he does is have fun with a great big smile on his face. You know, he said some players make practice work sometimes. Never did he ever see Teemu Selanne do that.
Rolling puck in on goal, smothered by Hiller, and a face-off coming in the Anaheim zone.
Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson Canadian, die-hard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Selanne is 15th overall in the history of the NHL with 1,436 points. And a face-off coming to the right. Oh, right off the face-off, a save made by Hiller. That 76 goal plateau has been something that has sat there for quite a while. And Alex McGillney that year. Did goalies not wear pads that year? Or what? Boy, oh boy, there was an awful lot of scoring. But Alex McGillney had that huge year in Buffalo. Same year, Selanne was lighting it up. A shot wide of the goal, big rebound! Hiller got over! Did he get it or did it go off the post? Bounces wide of the net. We're going to have to get another look at that. He got turned around and then roared back into the net. Somehow the puck stayed out. Centering pass off his stick. Chopped at. Played by Cranston out at center. And the boys in the truck tell us that hit iron, not padding.
They hit it flat.
Riley sends it around on the far side. Van Riemsdyk, a lead pass that Kessel couldn't handle. And it's down into the Anaheim zone. Played back out again. Bozak for Kessel. He's across the line looking for three. Oh, and a pad save by Hiller. He got that away in a hurry, and the 16th shot on goal was almost his third of the night. Down into the Toronto zone. Here's Phaneuf. A bank pass that is chipped in by Kadri. Hiller out of the goal to leave it there. Raymond unable to pursue his man on an angle. Vakkanen into center with speed. In on the left wing. Selanne to the net! Oh, and I think that Bernier may have got a piece of that coming across.
He did.
Left wing feed, too far for Raymond. Vakkanen plays it around back of the net. Raymond's going to get to a loose puck, now find a man. It's Lupul back of the goal. Lupul. Back to the blue line to Morgan Riley. Big rebound, Raymond. Can't get a shot to the net. Good hit there by Lupul to knock his man down. Lupul in the corner. Riley is shot right on. There's a rebound smothered by Hiller. And a face-off coming in the circle. But some tough moments for Bernier. One off the crossbar, and that save right there.
Well, Selanne's been around the net again tonight, and his best chance of the game came moments ago. Terrific anticipation here by Bernier, and he just gets his toe on the puck. A beautiful save at a key time in the game with 12:33 left, and his team up by a goal.
So the face-off in the circle to the right. Brought out now by Vakkanen and up on the wing. It comes back. Allen with a pass at center. Gardner's able to break it up. The Leafs trying to turn a 3-on-2 rush into something. But back checking there was Koivu. On the wing for Cogliano. It rolls in front of the Toronto goal, and it is Bolin banging it out at center ice. Clement trying to get it in over the line for them. And Koivu turns now with a pass on the right wing. Winnick across the line. Daniel Winnick waiting for traffic and then send it wide of the net. And now here's a 2-on-1 break. Van Riemsdyk with Kessel. Van Riemsdyk to Kessel. Scores! The hat trick!
Winnick in a real good position here in a scoring chance, and he misses the net on this. Beauchemin gets caught at first, then he gets back, and now he's the defenseman back to the 2-on-1. And a beautiful play again by Van Riemsdyk as he deeks past the stick of the defenseman right here. Changes the angle right there, and that enables the puck to get through to Kessel. Kessel, a right-handed shot with that great release again. And this combination of Van Riemsdyk and Kessel is putting a show on for Don Waddell from the U.S. Olympic team program here tonight scouting this game.
Phil Kessel with his 4th career hat trick. Second in a Leaf uniform. And it was many moons ago that a haberdashery here in Toronto would give out hats for 3-goal performances. Ergo, the hat trick. In those days, everybody who came to the rink had gone to a haberdashery. They all wore hats.
Yes, there are all kinds of them. And the youngster Lindholm on this last goal was the defenseman that slipped and fell for the Anaheim Ducks, and that created the 2-on-1 break for the 2 speedballs, and Bruce Boudreau is saying, what happened? Here he is here. There is Winnick, and Lindholm will slip right there. He got caught and he just slipped, trying to keep the puck in. And that created the 2-on-1 for Toronto.
And a long-standing ovation for Phil Kessel, who decided that he liked Toronto, and so he re-signed here to start this season. And a lot has been forgotten about the Boston trade now.
Well, these two together have some tremendous chemistry, and Van Riemsdyk goes to the net so well, and he's a playmaker, but you know, so is Phil Kessel, and he doesn't get enough credit for his playmaking abilities. And here's tonight's goal. They're almost carbon copies. That's the last one where he deeks around and finds Kessel going to the net.
So the face-off is to the right of Bernier, and the shot is into Bernier's chest and held, and with Corey Perry on the doorstep, that draws a bit of a motion from Bernier to clean out the area of the crease.
We talk so often about key things in games. The 5-on-3 penalty kill, huge in the second period. Now in the third period, a 1-goal game, and here comes Bernier with a large left pad save on Teemu Selanne. 2 big moments in this game that have given the Leafs a 2-goal cushion here at the moment.
Laid up on the wing for Kessel, too far. And it's grabbed off there by Getzlaf. Down low, now Bernier trying to poke it away, and it goes back to the goal, and it is sent out into the center ice area. Getzlaf turns. Getzlaf up on the right wing side. Maroon with a long shot wide of Bernier, and into the corner it goes for Dion Phaneuf. Brought out at center by Bozak. Kessel is with them, needs a change, so he sends it in over the line. Approaching the midpoint of the third period, the Leafs with a 2-goal lead and 4 unanswered goals. Kadri takes it to safety and gets it up on the wing with a bank pass for Van Riemsdyk, too far. And it will be Hiller who is able to smother it and hold for a face-off down in the Anaheim zone. So the face-off to the left of Hiller. Centers and wingers seem to make the tandems that work an awful lot. You've got Getzlaf, Perry, but here it's the two wingers together that have been the lethal combination. And they've all played center at some point in time in their career, but your point about the playmaking of Kessel has lost a lot of time. You're right about it.
That gives them two weapons.
Pass
As
on
they go down the ice, they both have the ability to find each other in any situation, particularly in man advantage break, Joe.
Into the corner, Raymond with a shot. He had Hiller leaning the wrong way, but it went wide. Now to the near corner, it's played for Raymond. Mason Raymond back to the blue line, fed back in again by Ranger. Jake Gardner unable to get it in deep. It comes to the blue line, rattled into the corner once more, and Ben Lovejoy plays it off. Leafs, who had 2 shots in the first period, now have 20, and 4 of them have gotten in behind Jonas Hiller. Onto the wing and chipped into the zone by Poland. Hiller was pulled out of the game the other night when the youngster ended up winning his game. Now a chance. McLellan in front. Down is Hiller. Puck is still free. Jammed out, and on top of it is Ben Lovejoy outside the goal crease. The Leafs almost added to a 4-2 advantage. Sportsnet proud to present Molson Canadian Leafs hockey from the ACC. Anything for hockey brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs.
Well, our feature tonight is an easy one, and it's Phil Kessel, who has just been around the net all game long. There's his first goal on the power play, and then a beautiful shot on a 2-on-1. That thing had eyes right off the crossbar and in. And then moments ago in this third period, great 2-on-1 play by Van Riemsdyk over to Phil Kessel, and he makes no mistake.
And Doug Orr and the North Winnipeg boys were wondering if Kessel's ever had a 4-goal game, and the answer is no.
9:23.
That's not over yet.
No. Brian Allen got it ahead at center. Palmieri got in over the line against Ranger, and a penalty coming to Ranger as it is touched, and Ranger's going to get a holding call. 4th power play opportunity for the Anaheim Ducks.
Does he lose position on Palmieri? He holds him up that extra second, and the puck is long gone. Many don't like that rule, but the reason they put it in is to allow the forecheck to continue, and it couldn't happen there as Ranger was holding up his man on the way into the zone.
Anaheim over 3 on the power play. Just a single shot of their 16 has come with the man advantage. Ranger in the box for holding. Here is Getzlaf in across the line. Gets it back to the blue line. A wrist shot is deflected by Getzlaf. Knocked down in front was Teemu Selanne. And the puck is going to squirt out at center. And Jay McClement propels it the rest of the way down the ice. Out at center ice for Getzlaf. Broken up at the blue line by Jake Gardner. Poland couldn't get it further down the ice, but Cody Franson will, and that's off the stick of Mason Raymond down into the Anaheim zone.
Anaheim power play has been a combination of very strong positional penalty killing by the Toronto Maple Leafs and solo mission efforts by Anaheim, as they all seem to want to do it themselves on the ice on the power play.
Dave Poland got his bonnet knocked off.
World Series Game 1, St. Louis and Boston tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Sportsnet East, Ontario, Western Pacific. And stay tuned immediately following tonight's game for Connected with Ivanka and Ken. We're looking forward to that.
All of the highlights and a lot of the activity going on around Fenway Park in the opening of the World Series tomorrow night in Boston.
Bandwagoners again, no one.
Johnny Lester going tomorrow. Got our man there. Centering pass, block. Silverberg gets it back on the boards. It comes to the blue line. Beauchemin to the far side, a shot. And Bernier got across there and made an excellent save on the right pad. Koivu gets it returned in the near half, or at least Bonino back to the blue line to Beauchemin. Looking back across to the near side. That's broken up. Palmieri in a little traffic. It comes to Bonino. His shot is off the side of the goal. Cleared by Phaneuf into the corner. Grabbed off by Perreault. Perreault to Bonino. Back to Perreault. Perreault looking in front, finds Bonino again on the near side. His pass partially blocked, hammered into the corner by McClement. Now it's back to the net for Perreault. Perreault out of the box is Ranger. Long shot blocked. Race for the puck. Van Riemsdyk wins it, but can he win another race? He does! Penalty coming!
Penalty shot coming.
A penalty shot for James Van Riemsdyk.
Well, speed. Speed. And he just takes off on this play. There's the free arm, the grab. It eliminates the chance to score, although he does get it off. But here's off the boards. And Power protects the puck with his body, gets body position. But now we got a penalty shot. And this could seal a deal for the Maple Leafs with 6:50 to go.
So James Van Riemsdyk, in shootouts in his career, 1 for 4. Here he comes, slowly at first. Backhand off the post. Threw it to the backhand, tried to go on the short side on the blocker and hit the post.
You know, I like the move. With that long reach, he brings it to the middle and he has lots of room, and Hiller was beat off the post there, right off the crossbar.
6:59 to go in the third period. That was his first ever penalty shot. We mentioned he was 1 for 4 in shootout attempts, so brought out at center ice. Emerson Edom gets it across the blue line and then back to the net. Near side, Jay McClement turns up ahead at center for Orr onto the wing. Poland had to secure it, and then I think he put himself offside. So it'll come back into the center ice area. Cogliano had given Poland a bit of a hack there on the way by. Bruce Boudreau's team kicking off this 8-game road trip.
Montreal, Ottawa, Columbus, Philadelphia, Boston, Buffalo, New York. Home. 2 weeks on the road. How do you like that big?
A lot of stickers on your luggage after that. McClement into the corner. Gardner playing it up on the wing, but it's cut off and sent back in along the boards. Ranger takes his man into the end board, or the corner boards. Cogliano and Orr pushes the puck to center. Here's a chance. Rangers in the rush. Back into the slot for Orr. And it went off the toe of his stick and into the corner. Holt Orr unable to get it back to the blue line. Trying to drive the net. Getzlaf, and he did, and it was stopped there as Cogliano went hard to the front of the net. Here's Kadri. A pass ahead. Lupul in across the line. Tries to get it into the corner. It comes back towards the blue line. And the play of Getzlaf gets in over the line, and down he goes, courtesy Dion Phaneuf, who's broken his stick in the collision. Raymond unable to get to it. Kadri's without a stick. He's given it to the captain. And around back of the net for Maroon. To the near boards for Corey Perry. Shot off the side of the goal. Phaneuf trying to move it out into the center ice area, and he has. And now a stick is given to Kadri, who will end up going to the bench. Perry in the corner. He's around back of the goal. Perry challenged there by Phaneuf as it comes free to Getzlaf. Getzlaf holding, pass to the side of the net, stopped on the short side. Bernier now back to the near side. Perry can't come in front. Phaneuf chops at it, and Mason Raymond trying to get it out. He'll get some assistance, and Lupul will push it to center ice. Bozak misfired on a pass for Lupul.
You know, we haven't talked a lot about it in this game, but the Leafs' defensive zone coverage against a pretty strong offensive group in Anaheim has been pretty strong tonight for the most part.
20 shots on goal, but here's the chance. Selferberg, stopped by Bernier.
Well, I spoke too soon, but the reason the Leafs run a bad change there coming off a tired ship, they didn't get it deep and they almost paid for it.
Well, coming up after the game, Canada Bonka will be along with Connected on all the highlights and a look forward to the World Series.
Hey, Joe, what's on Daniel Alfredsson's mind as he gets set to face off against the Sens tomorrow? Alfredsson and Rashford Danny one-on-one tonight.
And on the eve of Game 1 of the World Series, the incredible influence and inspiration the Red Sox have had on Boston. Joe, back to you.
Vancouver Bonka will look forward to that. Red Sox and the Cardinals meeting again in the World Series. Long shot goes high and wide of the goal. And it'll be played by Kadri to center.
You better be careful about cheering for that Boston team when our new boss grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and anybody that grew up in St. Louis, Missouri loves their Cardinals.
Oh, you know that? Kadri trying to find a man in front. It's one of the best baseball experiences you're going to
don't try and get out of this now.
I've been there. Hey, don't tell me.
Yeah, it sure
Show
is.
me. It is. But that ain't stopping me from cheering for the Red Sox.
Just checking.
No.
You know, living in St. Louis, you have an awful lot of respect for their organization. All they do is win, and it is a great hockey town, but it's also a tremendous, obviously, baseball town.
Yeah, it is. It's a baseball town first, that's for sure. Backhand shot by Koivu goes wide. He'll play it back to the blue line. Intercepted by Dave Bolland and carried to center. Bolland hits the line and couldn't get it past the defense. Laid out at center ice. Gardner with a bouncing disc to control, and now McClement trying to slip it into the zone. Has it hit the curled glass and go out of play. Tonight's game summary brought to you by The Brick. Nobody beats The Brick for furniture, mattresses, appliances, and big screen TVs.
Well, Phil Kessel's been tremendous, obviously. Hiller, I don't know that you can really blame or put the blame on him in this game. I mean, the 2-on-1s that have beat him, and the great shot by Phil Kessel. And Dion has been great again tonight, and I think we've said that a lot this season.
Gunnarsson got it ahead. Van Riemsdyk taps it to the line. Laid down into the Toronto zone. Blocked by Phaneuf, then a shot off the side of Bernier comes to the near wing. Beauchemin sends it back in under 3 minutes to play in the third. Leads by a pair. Shot stopped by Bernier. Rebound to Gunnarsson. And Gunnarsson trying to play it out. Kessel can't help. But then a volley ball is nailed out and spiked out at center ice by Carl Gunnarsson. Bernier back for Phaneuf. Around on the boards for Kessel. Kessel ahead for Raymond. Bozak into the rush. Raymond banned on it, but Kessel has it. Kessel looking for his buddy. Bozak was there, and Kessel had the crosshairs if he wanted to. We've seen that too this year.
Yeah, we have. I mean, an unselfish player, and he was trying to find his buddy who had a little better shooting spot. He's looking back saying, geez, I thought I had him. And it seems it's like one of those nights where the puck is following Kessel. Tries to sneak it through, and a very strong defensive play there, and a good play by Cam Fowler.
Bruce Boudreau is going to go with 6 attackers here with 2:22 to go in the third period. And the face-off wasn't done correctly, so they're going to do it all over again. And Dave Bolland leans in. For Toronto, the draw scrum comes back to the blue line to Fowler, but it bounced over his stick. Ducks back in their own zone and now being hampered there by Jay McClement's persistent forechecking. Solani turns. Final 2 minutes of time here at the Air Canada Center for Teemu Solani maybe. Round back of the net. Bernier up on the wing, chopped high in the air. Is this going to have enough to go for icing? No, it doesn't.
I can tell you, he was thinking about it. The first time he got the puck, he was thinking, goal, and then he realized it closed in and made a tremendous play. Bernier did.
A centering pass, big save, Bernier down. The net dislodged, is crashing into it. Was Lupo as he went right over top of his netminder, but the first save was an excellent one.
And the second was pretty good too, Joe. And Bernier, we shouldn't underestimate his play here in the third period. He's made a couple of huge saves. A 2-on-1 in Solani, a breakaway save moments ago, and there's the left pad, and then he comes back and sweeps his stick back as well in the rebound attempt. as Lupul goes piling. Watch the stick here afterwards on Selanne again.
Oh, right
a
there.
Second effort there also. And Bernier seems to get better when his team gets a lead. He just has the ability to shut it down.
Ducks with 25 shots, the Leafs with 23. Bozak out there, Kessel as well. And Bozak facing off with Saku Koivu. And the draw one, it rolls in front of the goal, knocked away by Bernier. Laid off the glass and to the line, but not out. Long shot goes wide of the goal. Perry couldn't get it with a stick. Kessel racing after it. It comes into the slot for Getzlaf. Near side, Beauchemin. Former Leaf goes back to the goal, centers. Knocked to the blue line. Shot stopped in front of the net. Shot for the line and out. And 13 to go. Fired back in again by Lindholm. Bernier couldn't slow it down. Leafs get it up on the wing for Kessel. Kessel trying to get it out, but can't. Getzlaf at the blue line in traffic, a shot. Big rebound in front is knocked away and cleared by Kessel off the boards to center.
And Bozak just saved the goals. That rebound went right to the slot, and Bozak was right there to clear it out of harm's way.
Brought back in by Patrick Maroon. Pass into the corner it goes. Speaking of Cardinals, Maroon from St. Louis, Missouri. As it is played into the bench area with 38.1 seconds left. But what a play by Bozak, as you mentioned.
Terrific play as the puck goes through traffic. I don't even know how Bernier saw this to begin with. And there's the rebound for the puck there. And look at the play right there as Beauchemin had a 4x6. And a tremendous play by Bozak, being very aware, looking around behind him. And a strong defensive play that might have saved a goal there.
Corey Perry got away with a trip as he hauled Bozak down right after the move. But a timeout called here by the Ducks. Face-off will be in the circle to the right of Jonathan Bernier. At the turning point in the game, I don't think there's any question, was the two-man disadvantage for 1:27 with the Leafs' best penalty killer, Jay McClement, in the box, along with Van Riemsdyk, that they killed off. And it wasn't long after that this game turned on a dime.
It sure did. And that other save as well by Bernier. Selanne, when the score was 3-2, was another mark that you need to put down in this game.
So the final 38.1 seconds left. Back to the blue line. Vatanen sends it in around back of the net. Knocked into the corner by Fedor. Perro trying to free it up against Bozak. They'll fight along the boards, but tick, tick, tick goes the clock as it comes around on the near wing for Carl Gunnarsson. Leafs can't get it free. Played around to the other side by Jay McClement, who takes a glance at the clock. 14 seconds left. Off the glass to center. The Leafs will win their 4th game on home ice and their 7th game of the season to go along with 14 points as they'll head to Columbus to welcome David Clarkson back into the lineup. Final seconds to tick away for Jonathan Bernier to pick up his 5th victory of the season.
You know, Joe, this game, the Leafs had nothing going for them after a period. 2 shots, 3 shots, pretty well into the second period. At least 5 minutes in, they only had 3 shots. And that really summed up the way they were playing. And then all of a sudden, they found a spark. And remember the hit by Dion Phaneuf, too, the captain, that didn't hurt either early in that second period. Seemed to energize his team also.
They're just checking on the time. It's a moot point. 2.6 seconds remaining. I don't think another 10th is going to make that much difference. But we're going to go through the process and make this legal. Now it's 3.6 seconds.
Never really can get that. Let's just drop the puck and move on.
Well, the goaltender's back in the net for Bruce Boudreau, so they have conceded the night. And it will be conceded now as the face-off is completed. Jonathan Bernier with the win. The Maple Leafs end a 2-game losing streak and come away with a couple of important points, but more importantly, a better effort.
And the Maple Leafs Again, had nothing going but a pretty gritty performance the way they moved through the game. The 5-on-3 was huge. The big save by Bernier in the second. The big hit by Phaneuf in that same period. That set up the turnaround for the Maple Leafs.
Tonight's 3 stars are brought to you by Molson Canadian, diehard fan and proud partner of the Leafs. Phil Kessel with his 4th career hat trick. Dion Phaneuf is the 2nd star. A big win for the Maple Leafs to move on to Columbus. We're going to step aside and join Ken and Ivanka for Connected. All of us here at the ACC. Good night, everyone.